Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin on the Minnesota border. We got Tim in Green Bay here to talk free agency as the Packers have a couple of new additions and a wild first day of free agency, man. This was a lot of fun to listen to. I was on the go all day and had it on NFL Network listening to Good Morning Football and then bleeding into the rest of the afternoon. With everything breaking. I want to say, though, when I switched over to the Pat McAfee show at noon, man, they done a hell of a job. It was absolutely awesome. Every time somebody got the bag, they were breaking it. It was really, really cool how they went around about free agency today. And, of course, X went down for a little bit, so that freaked everybody out, and everybody was scrambling for information. I do think it's hilarious. Everybody hates Elon until you need X, right? Now, all of a sudden, it's playing X up. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Boys, we got a couple of new Packers to talk about. Before we dive into all the details, and I think I've got quite a bit of information keyed up on these cats. Obviously, was no one on our radar as we were looking at the very, very top of the free agent list. These are those guys kind of, I feel like in the mid tier. However, seems like a lot of people are pretty high on them. So overall, before we dive into the two newest Packers, how did you guys feel about free agency? And I don't care who started. Matter of fact, let's start with you, Tim. How did you feel about free agency today, man, with everything it seemed like it was one after another when things started popping loose?
Yeah, it was kind of rapid fire. We talked offline a little bit about we had a feeling that once it got going, it might be pretty rapid. And we kind of saw that happen today. And then obviously, X going down didn't help anybody getting information in or out, I guess, today. But, I think it went about as to be expected, right? There were some fireworks and then a couple of, a few surprises, I think, and then a few things that I don't think anyone was surprised by either. So all in all, another day of free negotiation, right? That's
Absolutely.
what we saw,
What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough while I'm working to actually keep up with everything, but I had one headphone in and I was refreshing the Twitter. Was not working for me pretty much the whole day. A lot of kind of bigger names than I thought moved quickly, and then a lot of I'd say middle tier people getting contracts that I thought were quite large compared to what I would either project them getting. And we can get into our guys as well. I'm hesitantly positive, but there's definitely some parts about it that I don't enjoy. But I will say, and I hate to say this, but I liked what the Bears did today. They signed everybody and their brother. They solidified that offensive line almost in the last 2 days, seemingly overnight. So we'll get
winning
into
the off season again, but not the regular season, though.
Yeah.
Right?
I will say this about the Bears. I'm glad you brought it up, Jacob. In the past, I've always rolled my eyes. This year, we always joke about, like Tim said, they win the offseason every year. I've never felt like, boy, they really turned the corner this year. This year, it's like, okay, they're building in the trenches. They finally had their ass whipped enough that they realized, all right, we got to start adding some big boys in the middle, both on offense and defense. I agree with you, Jacob. I thought they did pretty good today, man. King Tron with the super chat. Sorry for bogging up the chat with the PFF stuff. Go Pack, go. Hey, Tron, you're never bogging down the chat, man. More information is better than less. We appreciate you taking the time to throw all that in there for sure. And thank you for the super chat. I do want to give a shout out to our boy. Gosh, I've already forgot the name here. It's kind of a unique name. If I'm saying it right, Jazambi. I had someone email me named Jazambi about, gosh, it was late February, I think it was. And said, hey, man, I got some cards. I collect cards. I do, autograph cards, stuff like that. Wanted to send you some stuff to give away on the show. And, man, first of all, the letter he wrote to the show, absolutely awesome. I'm going to take a picture and send it to you guys. Just really, really cool. But the stuff he sent, we've got to give away on the show. We've got an autographed Mason Crosby jersey patch card. Really, really sweet piece of memorabilia.
Oh, nice.
We've got an autographed Sean Ryan card, rookie card, him in his UCLA uniform. We got an autographed rookie Bo Melton card. We've got an autographed Javon Bullard rookie card.
Let's go.
And a Katana Ladapo might be my favorite, and that thing is clean right there.
Ooh, that is nice.
Nice.
And then this one, I don't know, man. This is one of one. He created it himself, is what he said in the letter. Check this J-Love out here, right? So he's got the card, and he signed it. It's one of one. Look at the back. It's set up almost like a comic book.
Oh, wow.
Thanks, sweet. That's probably going to have to go in the studio here, boy. So I'll give away an autograph in this place because that is, he created it by hand. It looks like with a Jordan Love rookie card on the front. It's really, really cool. It's autographed by him. He created it custom, not autographed by Jordan Love. But again, Jazambi, thank you so much. Hopefully, I'm saying that name right. Thank you so much for supporting the show, and it's just, it's awesome, man. Everybody we've got that's joining in on the festivities here on this show that sucks so bad. So Turtles, Aaron Banks and Nate Hobbs, not too shabby. I've seen mostly positive reviews of these players. And again, we're going to dive into them 100% here in a second. I want to get caught up in the chat, and then we will do so. I'll throw this up just so you can kind of see early on what we're going to be talking about here. PJB, now here's a guy, right? Paul Grant.
Here's the guy.
Paul Grant said, Aaron Banks signing solid. Hope they do not trade Rasheed Walker with Jordan Morgan injury history. Would be screwed at left tackle. So he's already thinking maybe a step or two ahead. Like, hey, what if Jordan Morgan is projected as a future left tackle? You don't give Rasheed Walker a huge contract. This guy plugs and plays at guard. Obviously, being Aaron Banks, that might be the approach. Jesse in the chat, Hobbs, the other signing, which is obviously a cornerback out of Vegas. We'll hit that in a second. 9.62 RAS. Could he play outside? He's very versatile, it looks like. Many people immediately said it's only a slot. He's only a slot. It looks like he's got some outside snaps as well. King Tron, wow, what a day. Excited about Hobbs and Banks. Banks was a second-round pick from Notre Dame. He played 775 offensive snaps last year, committed 5 offensive penalties, allowed 1 sack, 4 quarterback hits. And again, I immediately tweeted this out and said PFF grades, Ari Mirov had tweeted out the Packers are making a splash signing a former 49ers guard Aaron Banks to a 4-year, $77 million contract. Obviously, he is, like Tron said, he's a former second-round pick out of Notre Dame. PFF grades starting in 22. I think in 2021, he had very minimal snaps, but a 62, 54, 65. You see those and you go, well, he sucks, right? The fact that he only gave up 1 sack, that's important. We know Goody is always going to lean toward pass blocking over run blocking. That's just the way it rolls. What's your guys' initial thoughts on the signing here with Aaron Banks? And then I will move on to the PFF information that we've got, not just the grades, but like I said, the sacks, the hurries, all that good stuff. Jacob, why don't you go first, man? How you feel about Aaron Banks here?
I like it. In theory, I think that we may have overpaid for good as of what he's done in the past, but I don't believe that Goody and the Packers would bring this dude in if they didn't see a great potential in his future. And, we've talked about how PFF is not the end all be all, and it's tough to really just project if they're a good player or not based on a PFF grade. But I will say this, he was part of one of the best offensive lines for that last 3-4 year stint here. And if he was a starter, like Tim said, I think he played over 1,000 snaps in certain years. And just last year, I think it was close to 800. I want to say that he was pretty durable as well, which is something I know that they definitely want to like. And I think the more interesting dynamic is, what does this do for the rest of the offensive line? Does this mean that they're willing to actually plug in Jenkins there at the center position, let this guy take over at left guard? Because if I'm not mistaken, that's where he has played exclusively. Get Morgan over at right guard and just let our tackles do their thing. And then we have some decent depth if you want to have Ryan as a floater kind of guy. But I don't mind the signing. That $77 million, you guys know me, man. I'm cheap as can be. When I saw 44, and I'm sure you'll maybe break down once we get the specifics of that contract. I would have to guess that it's not going to be as front loaded as other prospects, that they're going to give themselves a very wide open door to walk out of if he doesn't perform.
Yeah, two-year experiment, I think, for sure. Once we get the specifics, but I agree with what you're saying. It seems a little bit high. especially when you see the way the market tilted for some of the other players at positions of need that we talked about. But I think what it shows is Goody's commitment to not getting our ass kicked on the O-line anymore. We saw what happened when Big E went down last year, and the wheels fell off of that O-line immediately. So I think adding, interior depth is a good sign. We didn't make a move at center in free agency, so that's a position we may think about addressing in the draft, maybe not. To me, I think it's a win because it gives us the flexibility that we need on that O-line, and we have depth. We don't even know if Jordan Morgan's a guard in the NFL yet. We have not seen enough to believe that, we'll just make him, the starting right guard. I think right now it's probably Sean Ryan's job to lose at this point, if in fact Elton moves over to center. And then depending on what they're going to do with Rasheed Walker, I mean, for all we know, they could stick Jordan Morgan back at tackle where he's played the bulk of his college snaps. So I think it's a good move. It shows a commitment to getting better at, as Emilio would say, building the wall in front of Jordan, and probably makes a guy like me happy because it looks like we might go D-line in the first round in the draft now. So kind of excited. I don't know. What do you think, Clay?
There you go. I was just trying to comb through Twitter and see if we could get some more details on the contract structure. The only thing I'm seeing is 4 years, $77 million. This is from Spot Track on Twitter 4 hours ago. But only his signing bonus will be guaranteed at signing the Green Bay way. So you guys know how they pay that cash up front. That way they can get out of the contract if they need to later and obviously spread that cap around. It just gives you a little more flexibility in that regard. So I'm eager to see what the guaranteed money was based off what other people were saying. And again, I'm just kind of going off hearsay. I was at the hospital most of the day. So I was trying to keep up as much as I could. When X went down, it was like, well, I guess I might have to watch the old boob tube here. We're going old school. So, yeah, and here we go, Eric Sutherland. Yes, Coach, this deal for Banks is a great deal for the Packers. It's all based on a 1 year prove it. It's not if it's prove it, it's a great deal there. So again, hopefully the contract information will drop on Spot Track's website here soon, and we'll kind of go through and hit that. Ron Samble in the chat. Brian Baldinger says he's a big time guard. Can't wait to see some Baldy breakdown on this guy and see exactly what he does well. It sounds like he's more of a pass blocker, I'm assuming, than a run blocker. So Turtles, Elton Jenkins, the center. I've seen a lot of conversation about this online, and I don't know, man. I don't find myself getting aggravated when people throw out different scenarios. I like to kind of try to think outside of the box. Like we get so caught up in our own head, and I don't ever want to come across like I'm a know-it-all or anything like that. I apologize if sometimes the show comes across like that. I know we all get passionate on our opinions. I always try to preface it or at least wrap up the show with, hey, look, I'm just an idiot. I'm just an idiot Packer fan that's trying to figure this thing out too. But I see multiple different, hey, what if Sean Ryan plays center? What if they kick Zach Tom over? I personally, based off what I know, what I've seen, what I would like to see happen is left tackle Rasheed Walker, left guard, obviously Aaron Banks, right? Elton Jenkins center, Jordan Morgan right guard, and then Zach Tom right tackle, with Sean Ryan being the backup. Now, if Sean Ryan beats out Jordan Morgan for that right guard spot, then Jordan Morgan becomes that backup interior offensive lineman, unless, of course, the center goes down. You got to do a little more shuffling. Me personally, what did we say all offseason? When people talk about, we need to trade for DK Metcalf, we need to go get this corner, we need to go do this, we need to go do that, I immediately go run it through the filter of, would that help us beat the Eagles? This helps us beat the Eagles. And I'm taking that off of the information of forget PFF, forget what everybody thinks they know. If we're just trusting in Brian Gutekunst, the general manager of the Green Bay Packers, to identify a good offensive lineman, I'm sorry. I'm going to side with Goody knowing what he's talking about as opposed to PFF because, I don't know. He found Rasheed Walker in the 7th round. I don't know. He drafted Elton Jenkins, who was a center, right, in college, kicked him over to left guard, and the dude ended up earning that second contract and being a fairly dominant player before the injury, and hopefully he gets fully back to where he needs to be. He found Zach Tom in the 4th round. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
I'm going to trust his opinion as opposed to just PFF grades, because the reality is all season long, we watched our running game take off. And every single week we've seen their run blocking grade be absolute dog crap on PFF. And that makes no sense to me whatsoever. And it's just a running back. The same thing happened with Aaron Jones, right? It was just always a low run blocking grade, but somehow the running backs were averaging over, 4.5, 5.5 yards a carry over the last few years. So that's kind of my take on it. Again, it's PFF grades 56, 59, 52, 65 here, according to the season grade. So I guess I did have that wrong. So unless they've got different grades, it kind of looks like that there too. It's amazing how things change on their side. TC fan with the super chat. Thank you so much, Wade. Says the Packers cannot pay Jenkins $17 million a year to play center. The Eagles didn't pay Kelsey that much money. I'm not comparing across team. I want the best five out there. That's me. And I do know this. When anytime someone starts a conversation with you can't pay this player this much money, I laugh. Because how much cap space do we got? How much cap space could we create? Right? Like the whole cap conversation is frustrating because you've got a portion of the fan base that thinks, well, that's just too much money to pay the center. It's funny you compare that to Kelsey's contract, TC fan. Why have the Eagles had so much success? Because they've had dominant center play for a long time. Why did the Chiefs have success for a couple of years? Everybody says Pat Mahomes. I pointed out time and time again, we're just not going to mention Creed Humphrey being arguably the best center in the game. I'm just saying, I want the best center on our team. To me, it's left tackle and center. Those are the two most important spots on that offensive line. Period, case closed. Now, if it's that important to you move Zach Tom to center, I don't think you need to do that because they knew E could probably play center. Here's the other thing. It could be Jacob Monk, right? We've talked about that. This dude may come out of the ashes and Jordan Morgan might not even see the field, like Tim was saying. We're not 100% convinced that he's a great guard either, right?
Well, one thing this signing is going to do is it's going to give us another one of our items from our wish list, which is competition on the O-line. You talked about it specifically at the center position. It'd be nice to get some competition here. I think, this breeds versatility and it breeds an exciting time at training camp to find out where these guys are ultimately going to end up as we go into preseason and ultimately kick off the, week one festivities next year. So I think it's good. I think we have a little more competition. We've got a good balance of veteran leadership and young talent on that O-line and in that room. And I think it's going to prove to be a net positive for us going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, my point there, TC fan, is center needs to be a top priority. If Elton is the best guy to play center, and this is the move to do it, I could give a rat's ass what they're paying him to pay. Let me put it this way. I would rather pay him more money to play center than left guard. I promise you that. Because I hands down believe center is more important than either of the guard positions. That's me personally. So Jake, if you got anything else to add to Aaron Banks, I'll continue to go through the information here. Do you got any thoughts off what we said? And TC fan, thank you so much for the super chat.
I think it's somebody that they see the potential has not been hit, that he has not hit that ceiling. And I think that with the group of guys that can surround him, on paper, that sounds awesome. If we could have Elton at center, Tom at right tackle, obviously have Rashid, and then we just figure out the guard positions. But I think that at this point, that this move has given us a little more depth, rotational power at that interior offensive line position, which, like you talked about, we lost to the Eagles because we were kind of slapped around in the trenches, so like pretty much every other team that went up against them. So this is definitely growing on me. It's one that I was hesitant because I'm cheap, but I want to see how time will maybe prove Goody right, prove me wrong, hopefully. And again, I think the way that the contract is structured has a big deal in this conversation, which I don't think we know for sure yet.
Yeah. And guys, we use PFF as much as anyone. You see it on the screen right now, right? I think it's a great tool. But when the instant reaction to a signing was PFF grades are low, therefore this is a garbage move. Like I share the PFF grades immediately. That's the starting point for me. Now let's go dig into the tape. Let's see what Brian Baldinger says. Let's see who these guys that, Mike Wall, people that truly break down tape. Let's see what they think. That's kind of how I try to approach. I try to look at it from 3 or 4 different angles, look at the statistics, look at the grades, look at the tape, listen to the professionals, and come up with a a rational opinion as opposed to just all of a sudden our general manager, who's had the youngest team in the league in the playoffs 2 years in a row, is just garbage at what he does, right? Hardy the Prophet, been a member for 5 months. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, coming from a dude that grew up 30 minutes away from West Virginia University and dumped many a couch from the rooftops of the Mountaineers, I appreciated the West Virginia talk yesterday. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in, Hardy. I love hearing Pat McAfee talk about West Virginia and his times there, man. How they would be out there, bar hopping on a Saturday night. I'm trying to think of the town that West Virginia is in. West Virginia U is in. But anyway, he said they'd be out there in the street having a good time, and one of the honky tonks, they'd start, all of a sudden you'd hear Copperhead Road would hit, and the whole town will go flooding into that bar to just party to that song. So appreciate you being a member for so long there, pal. Let's see here. J. Cole, boy, have I been sick of the constant bitching and moaning. It got bad today, I ain't gonna lie. And guys, you just got to ignore it, man. Yep. Everybody's got the right to their opinion. Don't let them bring you down, man. You make an educated assumption, or not assumption, but an educated breakdown, a study of a specific signing or a play call or whatever. Don't let those people bring you down, man, for sure. Because we know, man, like all you got to do is go to their profile or go look at their last 10 tweets and go, am I really going to let this dude get me upset over his opinion? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, don't let them get you down, man. And that block button, whoo, it's man's best friend.
Oh, yeah. I clicked on follow a few times today, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, but we seen the same complaint. Paul Grant, Clayton, hope your mother-in-law is doing okay. Prayers. Thank you so much, Paul, and everybody who reached out, texts, emails, everything. Thank you all so much. Everything went good. It was supposed to be a triple bypass. Ended up just being a double bypass. Everything went smooth. Yeah, she lives with us. For those who don't know, her and her husband, she had a stroke. She was her husband's caretaker, which was obviously Mandy's dad. He passed away a few years ago, so they've been with us since 2021. Yeah, I went in and seen her in ICU earlier today, and she could barely talk, but I grabbed her hand and she looked up and smiled, and I said, "Those dishes are piling up." That's all I said. Dishes here at the house. So
don't make her laugh, Clayton. She's probably sore.
It was a laugh, a moan, and then Mandy had to straighten her CPAP up because it was all out of whack. So I was serious. I ain't gonna lie, man. They are piling up. So no, but thank you so much, Paul. We appreciate you. Everything went great. Coach Lynn, he's 335, not my mother-in-law, this lineman we signed, okay?
Hey, now.
He's 335. He's a people mover, and him and Ryan will be great in gap, power, and duo run game. Isn't it funny, Coach, how far we've come from zone run, right? Like, we still run zone, don't get me wrong, and duo is a form of zone, according to most. Just depends on who you talk to. But, man, oh, man, they're wanting some body movers, like you were saying, man, a people mover. It sounds like this might be what this guy is. I'm excited about. And you guys know I'm a Notre Dame fan. I got to be real with you. When I seen Aaron Banks, it didn't go, oh, that's an Irish. Didn't even think about it until I started pointing it out. So anyway, I like that Coach Lynn, being our resident coach here in the chat, always immediately shifts his focus to what's this going to mean schematically, right? What are we going to be doing on the field, as opposed to those PFF grades are bad. Jake Shavink, this move is a move to keep building out versatile run game. Here we go. They aren't pigeonholed into running either gap, power, or zone. They can do both with this 5, whatever 5 it may be. That's huge.
That's right.
So love it. Love the thought process there. And Brambo says Cooper Kupp, I think is what he meant, is getting cut. Say that 5 times fast. How would you guys feel about Cooper Kupp, man? If you could get him on a little bit of a bargain deal, put Jaden a little more out to the Z, throw Cooper in the slot. I don't think that'd be a bad move if you get him for the right price.
I'd love it. I would. That'd be one of I know he's past his prime, but I'd be totally down for it.
Hardy the Prophet with a super chat here. He said it's Morgantown. Thank you so much, Hardy. It was on the tip of my tongue. I couldn't remember it there, but thank you for the super chat, bud. Thank you for clearing that up too.
So are we still going to draft Wyatt Malum now that we picked up some O-line in free agency?
I'm going to tell you right now. If I'm at pick 23 and I'm running the show and the best player on the board is a lineman, offensive lineman, hell yes. Because you're 1 or 2 injuries away from us doing the same thing last year, remember? And I think Ryan Schlipp had just some awesome tweets today. He was kind of in the same vein, if I remember correctly. He's just kind of, just keep building that thing out, Like, it doesn't mean you got to reach for it. We're not saying that. We're not saying you better get another offensive lineman right now, but you add a little bit of depth behind this signing. This is kind of very, very high floor, right? Like your offensive line, I think, got better today. That's just me personally. And it does sound like someone reported that Josh Myers will not be returning to Green Bay, right? It sounded like that was pretty definitive. Yeah. I can't remember who did it, Jacob. Do you remember who tweeted it? But you read the same thing, right?
I did. I want to. It was somebody that when I read whoever it was cited to, I was like, oh, that's legit. I don't know if it was Pelissero or maybe Spoon or somebody, but it was someone that you knew was reputable.
Schneidman, somebody.
Maybe Schneidman, yeah.
Yeah. King Tron with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, in Goot we trust. PFF grades are not even that concerning. 2 young studs joined the pack today. Happy with the moves and prayers for the fan, bud. Go Pack, go. Thank you so much, Tron. Appreciate you, pal. So just a couple other things here on the site. Overall grade, 65.4. Pass blocking grade last year was a 60.5. Run blocking grade was a 68.9. He only had 5 penalties, it looks like, last year, and he only allowed 1 sack. So if you were to say, okay, the top priority is protecting the quarterback, right, and sacks allowed, he only allowed 1. That puts him 51st in the league, which would make him, mid-tier number 2 guard. That doesn't mean backup guard. That means a legit starting guard, right? I think this is one of those safe picks, and once we see the guaranteed and how that's structured, you could probably see that, hey, if we swing and miss on this in a couple of years, you just get out of it and scratch it up and move on, right? There was a lot of overpaying today, though, like Jacob was saying. Ryan said the same thing. He put it into perspective a couple of times with some tweets. It's like, everybody was overpaying today. And Goody was just sitting back going, nope, not going to do it. So let's see what else we got here. I was trying to look at some of the key statistics, like we said, 51st and just that 1 sack allowed. Hits allowed. He only allowed 4 hits, 25 pressures. That was 100th best, it looks like. I was just trying to glance at those. Nothing major there. And then, of course, we already hit on the career PFF grades. Last year, I will say this, starting in week 1 all the way through the season, he stayed pretty healthy, didn't he? It looks like. Through 7, 8. What did he miss? 9 was probably the bye, so he was healthy all year long. Heck yeah. PFF grades, here they were, and this is just pass blocking grades here. Okay, 57, 71, 76, 13, 75, 56, 74, 60, 70, 66, 45, 48, 55. So it looked like his ceiling pass blocking was right around a 76 grade. And, of course, the floor there was that 13 against New England. So what you got, Jacob? What are you giggling about over there?
No, I'm just that floor 13. That's a pretty good floor, but that looks like it's an outlier. Yeah.
No doubt. Already the prophet with a super chat. By the way, Tim, are you coming to Canton for the Hall of Fame, Tim? We need to answer. People, inquiring minds.
I'd like to say yes, but I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. I might have to pick and choose between going this year and going in a few years when they put Aaron in there. So we'll see. I should know in the next month or so if we're gonna make it down. I believe it's end of July, I think early August, that the induction is gonna happen. So we're doing research. So no, I don't have an answer yet.
I've had people messaging me too that we are not live on Twitter. I don't know if that's cleaned up yet or not. It's not showing that we're live on Twitter. At least it's not showing the live viewers on Twitter. I did tweet out that we're on YouTube. So hopefully people were able to find it for sure. I don't know with what happened with Twitter earlier today. And listen, this ain't a political statement. This is what they're saying happened today to X, that the IP addresses were traced to those who were responsible for kind of hacking in and taking down X, and they're Ukrainian IP addresses is what they're saying. So for what it's worth, some people go, hey, he's probably lying. He may be. I could care less, to be honest with you. That's what they're saying happened. So the reason we're not on X, if we're not right now, is it might have everything they had to start from scratch, strip it off of StreamYard, kind of safety precautionary thing, because it sounded like it got a little wonky today. So that's Elon trying to fix it right now. He's crawling around looking for the fix here. So
12 for this, breaking some actually breaking news. This is Goot was like Michael Scott Paper Company in negotiations with Dunder Mifflin. All right.
There you go. Run blocking grades for our boy Aaron Banks: 66, 62, 63, 76, 79, 64, 78, 55, 57, 58, 62, 50 and 59. So the ceiling on run blocking last year, 79.2. The floor was 50.4. Okay. And his run blocking grade last year was the best of his career, 68.9. So that's probably what Goody's seen there as well. Kind of goes hand in hand with what Jake was saying, right? So Josh Martin with the super chat. Thank you, pal. He says, biggest issue on offense was pressure up the middle all year with Banks at left guard and Jenkins at center. Love should have time to step up into the pocket. That's a great point.
Really great point. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got, Elton Jenkins is one of the best pass blockers, right, in the NFL. I felt like at the guard position. Now he may have struggled with the run game at times, but see, here says there was a live. Maybe we can just go live. Let's just click go live and see what happens. I like just mashing buttons here mid show, and it says we're live on this now. So
Get ready to go.
So Josh, I think that's a great point, man. And I got to be honest with you, I haven't really looked at it from that point. Like, okay, the combination of Elton and obviously Aaron Banks now at left guard, and Jordan Morgan, it sounds like is going to be a good pass blocker. That's going to be kind of his forte, I believe, once he does completely solidify that starting spot there, whether it be right guard or left guard. That's the other thing too. They may kick this guy to right guard and put Jordan Morgan at left guard, where he's a little more comfortable, seeing that he played left tackle his entire career. I can't wait for camp, Tim. It's going to be a blast, man.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It'll be fun to see the defense putting these guys to the test too. I think there'll be some new pieces there too when it's all said and done after the draft. But I think I agree 100% here with what Josh is saying. You beef up that interior, we get better there, and that's going to give Jordan all he needs to continue to improve as a starter. And if you can protect him, give him time to step up and not have to throw off platform all the time and be able to get some throws out in rhythm, it's going to help him and this offense as a whole.
Definitely. And again, Josh, thank you for that super chat, buddy. Appreciate you. So the other signing today was obviously cornerback Nate Hobbs from Vegas, right? And Ari Mirov had this one. Ari is becoming one of my favorite follows, man. That dude is just on his game. Sources, the Packers are expected to sign former Raiders cornerback Nate Hobbs to a 4-year, $48 million contract. Do you guys know the details of that? Throw it in the chat for us. So 4 years, $48 million. He's a guy who's got some versatility. Now in 2021, his PFF grade as a rookie year was 79.1. As a rookie, that's almost unheard of, guys. That's like Edgerrin Cooper level stuff as a rookie, right? And then, of course, 2022 dropped back to a 60.9, then jumped back up to a 69, and now fell back to a 61.4. So that is, again, Nate Hobbs. I'll go to PFF. Jacob, what's your initial takeaway on Nate Hobbs, man? What did you find out today? What are you excited about? Maybe what you're not excited about?
Yeah, so the stuff I'm excited about, as you said, he came into the league just absolutely red hot on fire. And if anybody thinks, well, maybe it's a fluke, he didn't play that many snaps. No, 2021, he played the most snaps of his whole career thus far, 894, came out with a defensive grade of an 80.1, with a rush defense of 78.6, a tackle grade of 55, which for a corner, okay, cool. Pass rush grade of 76.7, a coverage grade of 78 flat. Now, since that time, we have seen a little bit of sporadic type stuff, but what's cool, I mean, the run defense grade has actually been very good up until this last year. He was still a 62.1, but again, as a corner, I'll take that. Years prior was a 78.8 and a 75.1, and then another 78. Tackle grade could be better. Pass rush grade for 2 years was quite impressive, and for 2 years, the coverage grade was quite impressive. So, you take a guy 6'1", 195, coming out of the Fighting Illini of Illinois. Draft year was 2021. He was drafted in the 5th round with the 168th selection. Now that's more of the positive, the good. What worries me a little bit, you look at the contract, 4 years, $48 million. I'm all right with that. Roughly just over maybe 12, 13 a year. If he actually is a starting, a guy that can start in this league and be good, and he's young. Cool. I got Hafley to coach him up and maybe be a little bit of a DB whisperer. The two things that I'm most worried about is that it looked like he predominantly played in the slot. And I did see some people say that he used to play outside in college and that he did it a year in Vegas and that he did pretty well. But more importantly than that, to me, the biggest red flag is that Hobbs has missed 16 games over the past 3 seasons, including 6 of the last 8 games of 2024 due to an ankle injury and an illness. He has never played a full season since he's gotten into league. So that's my biggest red flag that pops up for me.
And that probably explains why the contract is structured the way it is. If Uncle Eric Sutherland is correct here, 16 million guaranteed can get out in 2 years. So if you got a 4-year, $48 million deal and only 16 million guaranteed, that if they do it in a signing bonus formula, which is the way they like to do business, then essentially what it's going to turn into is, like you said, after 2 years, it could end up being a, 2 year, $16 million deal type thing, right? So you can get out, much like Josh Jacobs, although we know we don't want to get out of that now, right? So that might be kind of the thinking there, Jacob. Less guaranteed money if he does miss time because of injury. We don't want any player to miss any time. Don't get me wrong. You want your full strength of your roster, but at least you're getting recouped those funds if it's less of a bonus. You know what I'm saying? Less guaranteed. Sounds kind of cold-hearted towards the player, but that's the business that they're in for sure. So yeah, the PFF grades on defense. 2021, his defensive grade was actually an 80.1, 60, 69, 61.4. When I put these out earlier, I swear I went through and checked, and they're different now on the site. I don't know what the heck's going on there. But Tim, what do you think, man, on the surface here with Nate Hobbs? And to Jacob's point, the games he played last year, he played weeks 1 through 9 and then missed time and played 15 and 17. So he essentially played 11 games, and it looks like, according to PFF, all were in the slot except for 1, 2, 3, 4 games. But the fact that he played 4 out of those games on the perimeter shows you he's got some versatility, right?
That's probably the thing that stands out the most to me, other than the fact that, it seems like he's been hurt almost as much as Ja has been, apparently. So hopefully the health is not a big deal. But I like it because it gives us a contingency plan behind Bullard in the slot. I don't think this means, we don't see Bullard playing slot anymore. I think it means we have the opportunity to throw a true slot corner in there if we need to, and as well as use him on the boundary with Keyshawn and Carrington Valentine. And of course, talking this way is assuming that Jair is no longer a Packer, which honestly, at this point in the game, there's still a 50-50 chance that he stays, I think. So this could provide great depth if, in fact, Ja's healthy and available and does, in fact, play in Green Bay this year. So it doesn't seem like – it seems like a minimal to low risk, high reward scenario. I think this could pay off really well for us. And if it doesn't work out, it's not gonna ruin us.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I was just looking at some of the other stats here on the next page, and I won't throw it up here, but pass breakups, looks like he was 81st in the league, receptions allowed 77th. They see something in him for sure that's not quite showing up to me. He did have a pick last year, right? 1 interception. Now, think about this. When you talk about versatility, last year it was Javon Bullard in the slot, right? And if a safety goes down, Bullard would have to hop back to safety, right? And Keyshawn would have to come off the boundary and play the slot. And then you'd have to bring in your obviously third string outside backer or outside corner. This year, it's going to look much, much different, right? Like, let's say we know based off the contract, Hobbs is going to start. I think we all agree there, right? So if Keyshawn and him are battling, or Keyshawn, him, and Carrington Valentine are battling for those 2 outside spots, and let's say he wins an outside spot, you're probably going to see multiple camp battles, Tim. When you're there this summer, you're probably going to see Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, and Javon Bullard battling for the slot. You're going to see Keyshawn Nixon, Nate Hobbs, Carrington Valentine, and, insert anyone else. Could be Jair. We still don't know yet, right? If he's on the roster, he's going to be starting. But I think they love the idea of they've got a lot of versatility now, Plus you bring back Zane Anderson. Here's my point. Let's say that Nate Hobbs wins the slot corner job, right? And Javon Bullard ends up being on the bench, and it's Evan Williams, right? It's Evan Williams and it's Xavier McKinney at the safety position. If one of those 2 safeties go down, guess what you get to do? You get to either bring in Bullard or you can bring in Zane Anderson, and your slot doesn't have to move. Well, if the slot goes down, guess what you can do? You can put Bullard in the slot and no one else has to move because he's the backup, right? It's exactly what you talked about all offseason, Tim, when we would do the mock drafts. You go, look at the safeties. Let's see if anybody's got any slot experience. Yep. That's where it's at, They're
trying a hell of a lot better going into this draft now, knowing that we just nabbed a guy in free agency that is capable in the slot. I think that's a huge huge plus side for us going into the draft.
Yeah, and for the people that think we overpaid, listen, you've got every right to believe that. It does look like a lot of money on the surface, but when you look at the guaranteed aspect, do you want to carry $40 million in cap space into the offseason? You know what I'm saying? Like, or into the next season? Why not go ahead and fill that void with a little bit of depth? And if it doesn't work out in a year and a half, 2 years, just cut bait and you're clean slate, ready to roll again. You know,
Yep.
You guys know the two free agents I was hoping for the most was Chris Godwin, wide receiver from Tampa, and Khalil Mack. Right. Well, Chris Godwin was projected $20 million. I think he got 22 per, if I remember correctly. Right. So a little bit more than his value. Khalil Mack was showing like 21, 22, and he ended up getting 18 million.
18, yep.
I'm not going to BS y'all. I would love to have had those two guys at those numbers on the Packers roster. I would have been over the moon. But like we said last night, this free agency did not feel like last year's free agency where we're going, please, God, go get Xavier McKinney.
Yeah.
Go get, you know what I mean? Like, go get somebody like that. You know, would have been happy with them, but I'm not sitting here going, man, let's just go overpay for those two. We got to have them.
Yeah. The thing I heard with Godwin, correct me if I'm wrong, was that he actually had better offers and he took Tampa's offer wanting to stay in Tampa. It's something about that organization. They hang on to their free agents for the most part. They do not let guys that they want out of town very easily. So I don't know how those negotiations went or how the conversations were, but I don't think Godwin was going anywhere once the writing was on the wall. Apparently there were other offers out there that were higher than what Tampa paid him.
Yeah, sure seemed like it. Jake, you got anything to add to the conversation right now, man? Anything that we've covered so far?
No, not necessarily. Just real quick aside, what do you guys think about our big boy, Mr. TJ Slayton, getting shipped off to the Jaguars for 2 years worth $15 million?
Hey, I was pretty vocal about TJ Slayton. He didn't have near as many opportunities as he should have had. His pressure rate was 2% higher than Kenny's this year. I thought he was effective in the pass rush. That's just me personally. He had little over an 8% pass rush rate. He had the highest run stop percentage rate of any defensive tackle on our team as well. I thought he was somewhat underrated. I'm not surprised he got that much money personally.
I thought he went to the Bengals. He went to Jacksonville? I thought TJ went to Cincinnati.
I don't know where he went. That's the first I'm hearing of it here, to be honest with you. So
I'm reading that he went to the Jaguars, but I wouldn't be surprised. I saw there was definitely a few mistakes like that. Milton Williams, they announced that he went to some team, and then it came back like 30 minutes later. Nope. Actually, he didn't sign that. Now he's going to New England or something like that. They're saying Bengals in the chat.
Yeah, it's the Bengals.
Yeah. The only reason I would say, like, even though I like TJ Slayton and what he showed last year, though, Jacob, to answer your question, even though I liked what he did, if you sign him to that $7.5 million per, then you don't have any more room on the roster to go draft a 3 tech in the draft. And the closer
I would pay him $15 million. I'm happy he made that money. I just am kind of surprised.
The closer we get to the draft, it's feeling more and more like, we're probably going to swing on a 3 tech if the board falls just right there in the first round. That's what it feels like. Yeah, I'm happy about it too, because that's, you try to shore up the interior offensive line a little bit, right? With this veteran move, you go and add a couple more offensive linemen in the draft to help shore it up. And who knows if you hit on another Zach Tom, absolutely awesome, or another Sheed Walker, somebody like that. And then of course you add that 3 tech early to get some more push on the middle of the pocket on defense. I think everything sets up pretty nicely there, man, for sure. So I'm not surprised at that number, Jacob, but I wouldn't have mind to have TJ Slayton back $5 million. I'd probably went $5 million. So 7.5. I could see me going to. There's a walking away point, right, on every player for sure. Chris C, this is awesome here, man. I get excited over this stuff. I know some people don't. He says Love versus Aaron Rodgers season opener in Ireland. What if Aaron does sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Packers end up playing the Steelers in Ireland? Could you imagine international game in front of the Irish crowd, that rowdy Irish crowd, and it's Jordan Love against his mentor, Aaron Rodgers? I think that's just shoot, crack me open a 6-pack of Daddy sodas and sit back and enjoy the show. That would be an absolute blast. Y'all think he's going to end up in Pittsburgh? Is that what it's sounding like? Or do you think there's someone else that's kind of in the hunt there?
I mean, I think the consensus is
It's got to be
New York, Pittsburgh, or unfortunately Minnesota, right? Those seem to be the best 3 landing spots. Or like I have said from the beginning, the golf course is another option.
It definitely is.
So, Aaron, you're never going to know. We're not going to know what the heck's going on in his mind. But you got to think with his relationship off the field that he's had over the years with Mike Tomlin, a lot of respect for him. I would think that, there was a reason why Coach Tomlin went with Russell Wilson last year, most of the season, during that little experimental phase with Justin Fields. I think he likes the veteran quarterback idea. And I could see that probably being the best fit for Aaron. Going somewhere with some, he's got a couple of receiving targets there, and a chance to at least be a playoff team probably. I would think Aaron would probably want to play there before, any of the other teams on the list there.
I found it kind of interesting, though. I mean, basically, like Tim said, I don't see any other spots where Rodgers is going to go other than New York, Minnesota, or Pittsburgh. And I don't know about you guys, but I've heard nothing but constant rumors about how terrible the front office situation and the relationship in New York is right now, where players are actively like Amani Toomer, I believe it was, going out and saying, like, do not sign with this team. Like, they're a cancer organization. And apparently it's worked, where multiple players have refused to even interview or talk with the team and that don't like the coach and the GM and the front office. So I don't see Rodgers wanting to sign up for that. And in the same vein, if he goes down to Pittsburgh, yeah, he's got a great relationship with Tomlin. And I think if that defense is, like it usually is, that would definitely help Rodgers. But what a dynamic that he walks into now with 2 receivers, both of them same type of mentality, kind of where they're a little more selfish, gotten into trouble. Both of them are the largest deep threats in the league, I believe, statistically last year, when they had a quarterback, Russell Wilson, who was the moon baller champion last year. He was just chucking it up. And in addition to that, they are the 2 wide receivers that are far and away have the most offensive penalties against any wide receiver in the league. I believe it's Pickens first, has doubled the amount of the second person, who's DK. So it's like, that's just a weird dynamic to me,
Yeah, Jake Shabink said, let's go save Malik Neighbors for New York. Or from New York, I'm sorry. So, love it. All right, guys, that's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we will see you on the other side for hour 2. Appreciate y'all. All right, welcome into hour 2. Let's just take a quick recap, an overview here of what happened today across the league in terms of free agents who have signed. This may not be completely up to date, but according to Spotrac, here is what we've got. And what I did was I'm going to sort it by average annual value. So I feel like that's the number that, I don't want to say it matters, but that kind of gives you the overall dynamic of the contract, if you will. So can you guys read that okay? Is that zoomed in? Is that all right there?
That's good right there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so leading the way today was Sam Darnold, who went from Minnesota to the Seattle Seahawks. His average annual value is $33.5 million, okay? He got a 3-year deal worth $100.5 million. So Sam Darnold's going to continue his journey out in Seattle. How do we feel about that, fellas? I'm kind of excited that he's not in Minnesota anymore because, boys, he played damn good football last year. He really did. I like our chances against J.J. McCarthy better than Sam Darnold. Now, I understand there's a few whispers out there that Aaron may end up in Minnesota. Obviously, if Aaron ends up in Minnesota, I like Minnesota's chances with Aaron better than I did Sam Darnold. That's just me personally. So it's going to get interesting to see. That's why I want Aaron to sign in Pittsburgh as quick as possible. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and get that out of the way. Mm-hmm. But what do y'all think about Sam Darnold here? Money well spent, overpay? What do you think?
If I'm Darnold, I'm kind of scratching my head being like, well, who am I going to throw it to, though? I mean, they got JSN, obviously, but they let Lockett go. They let DK go. They let a few other players go. I would just try to – I mean, the money's money. So if you're worried about that aspect, then I'd be happy as a clam. But if you're worried about, like, is my career going to go beyond a 2-year stint here with this team, or are they going to basically use me and abuse me and then chuck me to the side of the road? So he benefited greatly from a team that was – very well-rounded, that was missing, obviously, a quarterback. He was able to plug and play. I think you'd probably worry if you're a Seattle fan about, was that the real Darnold? Just that stint of like 14 games, and then we watched him fall absolutely apart. Add that into the absolute train wreck that was his career up until that point. So if I'm a Seattle fan, I'm looking at that saying, "Good, we paid a lot of money." As a Minnesota fan, I'd say, "Good, we may have just given away the best quarterback in our group." If you're a Packer fan, I'm like, I don't care either way. Good.
Right. I know Jake Shavink here in the chat, Tim. He says JSN and T-Mac season in Seattle. That was one of those teams as we were doing that mock trying to see how far Ted McMillan would fall. Is it McMillan? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Right? Ted McMillan. How far he would fall. Seattle was definitely one of those teams that would be, in the sweepstakes there. I think that makes all the sense in the world.
I do too. Them being aggressive in the receiver market and the draft for sure. If it is McMillan, yeah, there's two guys right there, right?
I think he last, what are they, 18th though, I believe?
Yeah, but like Jake says, they got some capital to move up.
Right.
Could be one of those situations for sure.
As far as Darnold going to Seattle, I think that's going to fit perfect. I think it just seems like that's going to be a good match for them over there. And to Jacob's point too, I could see being a little nervous if I'm a Seahawks fan. Are you going to get consistency? Are you going to get that same level of play? And the other question is that Seattle O-line like the Minnesota O-line was last year and allowing Darnold the time that he had to do what he did last season. So there's a lot of different factors that go into play, but I think it's going to be a good fit. Just like, when they made the move to trade Geno to Vegas, I thought that's going to be a good fit too for him. This just seems to make sense to me.
Got it. All right. Drew D with the super chat. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate you, buddy. Says, I feel like we got 2 starters in free agency. We could still use a guy at those positions, but don't need a guy there. Feels like D tackle in the first, then it's open. Yeah, then you just go best player available. I agree, Drew. That's kind of what it feels like here, man. And again, I don't know enough about the 2 players to go slam dunk. Yeah, they're great starting football players. But based off of the people I respect and what they're saying around the old Twitter world, it seems like many people believe that. So that's good news for us Packer fans for sure. Appreciate the super chat there, bud. Next, you got Milton Williams, defensive tackle out of Philadelphia. He signs with New England, 4 years, $104 million. That's $26 million per year. That may seem like a lot of money, but like when you look at Kenny Clark's cap number last year, it was $27 million last year. This year it drops to 20. Next year it goes up to over 30. So you put them in the same ballpark, and Kenny signed his deal a few years ago. So to put that into perspective, Kenny Clark's type of deal, this guy is hovering, Milton Williams is hovering right around that contract value that Kenny signed 3 years ago. Shows you that I don't think they overpaid for Milton. I'm just not as big on Milton as most people are. And it's obvious that I was in a minority with that because Mike Vrabel wants to start his new reign there in New England and build this thing out right and build this defense up. They have plenty of money to spend, and boy, they dropped a good little piece of coin on Milton Williams. Davante Adams, the one that broke our heart. It's now, from what I understand, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, it's been reported that the Packers never made an offer. They were never interested in Davante Adams.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
Is that what you guys heard too? Is that right?
Yep.
I heard that they didn't pick up the phone either about DK or Goddard.
Right.
Yep.
So Davante Adams, you guys know, I remember saying 14 to 15 million would be my number. Anything more than that, it's going to get, a little too expensive. He ended up getting 2 years, 44 million, so 22 million per. I like that we passed on that. Not as if Goody seen that number and said, nope, can't do it. It sounded like he wasn't even interested. Drew D said, I wouldn't have wanted to come close to what Adams got. Completely agree, Drew. Completely agree.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Tay there? And Milton Williams too here, these top 3.
Milton Williams, I think that's a massive overpay for good. The guy has had spurts, and he's pretty much a pass rusher. I mean, I know that he was one of the most productive guys last year, but I don't know, man, $104 million over 4 years. I don't know, again, how much of that's guaranteed, but that's too rich for my blood. I'm happy for Davante. I think that that's probably the best fit and end of his career. Be out west, be with McVay, have Stafford there. Look at that tandem of Puka and him.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, It's
That's
that's probably. I mean, maybe not because he did have some great players in New York as well. But that's a tough 1-2 punch, man. That's a tough one there for sure.
I think you're spot on too. Tay's going to go there and fit right into that McVay offense, like perfectly. So that's good for him. I see Chris the Casual in here says that's criminal. Clayton 2 for 46 for a wide receiver 1 should have been a done deal. Brought him home. I respectfully disagree. As much as I love Tay, I love our guys that we have now, and maybe I'm just a little more patient than the average fan. But 1 or 2 seasons is not going to make me want to run you out of town. Like some of these guys are being talked about right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing the core that we have, plus whoever we add to the mix in the draft, Jaden Higgins, and we'll go from there. What are your thoughts, though? Really, would you have been willing to come even close? Like,
no, you got to have a walking away point, and there's no one that was more excited than me about the thought of Devontae Adams returning to Green Bay and helping these young receivers. I think that's a thing. And I know many people disagree with that's not a real thing, having a veteran and icon in a position room to help the younger players. I go based off of what former players said. I don't go based off of what fellow fans say in that regard. And that's something that's talked about a lot. Like you hear Pat McAfee talk about that a lot, like the people that were in the building. He's saying that's the problem with the Colts right now is they don't have those guys in the building to show these young guys how to be pros, right? So I think that's a real thing. But, yeah, you got to have a walking away point. And like Chris N said, saying that, it's criminal, you should have brought him in for $22 million. I can understand that. I can understand where you're coming from. I just disagree. I think that my number was, like I said, 14, 15 million. That's where I set it at too. As soon as I seen the Spot Track projected market value of 14.5 million, whatever it was, I was like, it just confirmed what I was saying about 15 million. It just felt that's the number. So, okay, if you're willing to go 15, then you're willing to go 18. If you're willing to go 18, you're willing to go 20. If you're willing to go 22, you're willing to go 25. When does it end? It's just, I want that player and I'm going to overpay. I can't subscribe to that. I just can't. And here's the other thing too. I'm not wishing this on Tay, but Tay is 32 years old. Is that right? Yeah, 32. What if he goes out there to LA in week 2 or 3, he, has a major injury and age catches up with him, right? Are the people that were saying, hey, we should have signed him for 22 or 25 million, are they going to come back and go, boy, that was the right move. I was wrong there. Probably never going to talk about it again. That's not a shot at Chris N. I'm saying that's 90% of the fan base that's losing their mind right now. 90% of the portion of the fan base. 90% of the fan base is not losing their mind right now. It's just the loud minority out there that's throwing a fit over the
What do you think about this tweet? And I think I don't necessarily know what the point he's trying to make, but I just think it's great to take a minute and take a step back. A guy named Steve Saban, but it's spelled with a CZ. Says the Packers lost by 2 to Minnesota twice, once to the Lions by 3, and the eventual Super Bowl champs by 5. What does all this tell you? The team is right there, and some of you guys can't even see it. And if it's an argument for him saying that we should have signed more people, I think it's more of an argument that we don't need to be careless and reckless with just throwing money around, trying to plug gaps and try to make. I don't, the headlines. Does it suck to watch a lot of the free agents that we loved and we've talked about fly off the board one after another? A lot of them going to the Vikes, to the Bears, and to the Lions. Of course. But that being said, we really have to take a step back. And so we basically lost by 11 points to the 4 or 5 best teams in the league. One of them was ended up being the Super Bowl champion. We're doing something right. It was small pieces. And Clayton, we've talked about it so many times. We lost that game in the trenches. Mm-hmm. What are we doing right now? We're trying to find a way to solidify the offensive line. We lost Slayton today. So I think that, like we just talked about, it's going to point a big blaring red arrow at that first round pick. And I just think that it just screams D-line 3-tech.
Yeah.
To your point, Jacob, look at these, just at this list right here, right? Seattle, New England, the Rams, Tennessee, Indy, the Jets, Arizona, the Giants, Carolina, Chicago. You guys see some massively talented teams there that are throwing money around in the, you know what I mean? Point. So if you're throwing big money around in free agency, chances are you're already at a point where you're scrambling, trying to get talent to come play in your organization and be competitive. I mean, out of those teams, other than maybe the Rams and
The Lions, yeah.
And Detroit made a move. Chicago, great example. We talked about what the Bears did, right? Bears made a lot of moves. They had to. They absolutely had to. So I'm not upset at all with how day one went today, honestly. And we got a long way to go too. A lot of off season left here before we get into the nitty gritty, right?
Yeah, let's go to the chat here. Josh Martin says Minnesota got Ryan Kelly at center today. That sucks. I wasn't as big on Ryan Kelly as most. Now, Ryan Kelly was listed as the top center free agent. It's amazing when I say he's listed as that. Someone said that on the NFL Network earlier. They get the top center prospect. I'm going, that's the first time I've heard that this offseason. All of a sudden, now he's the top center. You know what I mean? To me, when you take everything into consideration, I didn't think Ryan – I want to say Ryan Kelly was like 32 years old as well. Matter of fact, he should be on this list, I would imagine.
He is at least 31. I looked up. He graded out very well most of his career, but the last 2 years completely – I shouldn't say completely, but definitely did fall off. It is kind of a, it's a little tough to see that the two centers that I did want, I looked up Kelly later when, and then obviously Dahlman went to the Bears. So that's the only point of, kind of making my feathers ruffle a little bit. But again, we don't know, you can't compare our missing center that we don't really know who it's going to be with two guys that haven't played for that team before. And what if we do kick Elton inside? I mean, he could be the best center in the whole freaking NFC North by far. So,
right. 2-0 for this is Dontarion Wicks learning what Tay did to fix the drop issue would be crucial. I agree. That would have helped. Professor Cakes, can we just refer to Dontavion as Dontarion from here on out? It's too funny. I agree, man. We should do that. I don't think he'll like that, but we should do that. And Mama Wicks wouldn't like that either. And I have met her face to face. And anytime I meet someone face to face, I do not want to upset them, especially mamas. Mama bears don't play. I'll tell
you what, Dontavion is not going to be playing much either this year, unless it's serious reps. And I think this is the year he's going to step up. Everyone's going to call him by the right name after the 2025 season. I'm calling it.
We need to tweet at him that tweet where that guy called him Dontarion. Just a little reminder here, bub. They don't even know your name. I don't even know your name. I think he's going to be fine, man. That's me. Let's see here. In terms of other free agents, Dan Moore, tackle from Pittsburgh, goes to Tennessee. He got the bag, boys. 4 years, $82 million, $20.5 million per. Carlton Davis, cornerback, leaves Detroit, goes to New England. 3 years, $60 million. That's $20 million per. Charvarius Ward's one we talked about, right? I would have been okay with signing him for the right price. He ends up going from San Francisco to the Indianapolis Colts. 3 years, $60 million, $20 million per, obviously. Justin Fields is the new quarterback with the New York Jets as he leaves Pittsburgh and goes to the Meadowlands out there. 2 years, $40 million, $20 million per. I'm rooting for Justin Fields. I don't know about you guys, but I just love to see him turn out to be a stud and Caleb Williams be a flop, just so the Bears would have to live in that for a while. That would be awesome. Josh Sweat was one that was mentioned a lot this offseason with the Packers. Edge defender is going to be 28 years old here soon. Leaves Philly, goes to Arizona. 4 years, $76.1 million. That's $19 million per. No thank you for Josh Sweat for me. Not for $19 million. Paulson Adebo, I was really surprised how many people mentioned his name. I think it had a lot to do with his age, too, seeing that he was only 25 years old. He leaves the Saints, goes to the Giants, 3 years, $54 million, so he's getting $18 million per. Trevin Mohrig?
Mohrig, yep.
Hey, look at there. Safety from the Las Vegas Raiders, 25 years old, goes to the Carolina Panthers, 3 years, $51 million for $17 million per. Dayo Odeyingbo, right? Yeah.
Pretty good.
Defensive end, 25 years old, leaves Indy, goes to Chicago, 3 years, $48 million. Do we know much about him at all, fellas? Was he a pretty solid pass rusher?
Pass rusher that was their best in Indy for the last 3-4 years. Didn't have crazy numbers, but good enough. Got it.
DJ Reed, cornerback, one of them we mentioned several times. He was one of 3 corners I really liked this year. Undersized though, 5'9". Isn't it funny? We ended up going with the corner that's 6'1" as opposed to the 5'9" one. Right, no surprise there. 28 years old, leaves the Jets, goes to the Lions. 3 years, $48 million, $16 million per. Cameron Bonham.
We went with the younger corner too.
Yeah, right. Cameron Bonham, free safety. He leaves Minnesota, goes to Indianapolis. Talano Hofanga, safety, and Oos there, I believe, if I remember correctly. Leaves San Francisco, goes to Denver. Pretty solid player there. Javen Kinlaw, defensive tackle, leaves the Jets, goes to Washington. Tershawn Wharton, defensive end / edge, leaves Kansas City, goes to Carolina. Jalen Moore, left tackle, leaves San Francisco, goes to KC. Is it just me or does San Francisco get picked apart on that offensive line, boys?
Yep.
They lost 7 starters today.
Jeez, oh, Pete, that's a rebuild. That's a rebuild. Put it on the ticker. Put it on the ticker. Harold Landry, we talked about him. I think it was last night, maybe. Edge defender out of Tennessee. He rejoins Mike Vrabel up there in New England, 3 years, $43.5 million. Here's one that we talked about. This was, I don't want to speak for everyone, this was definitely my favorite center in this free agency. He was the dude that I was like, hey, if his market value is correct, that they were showing like either 6.5 or 6.9 million, sign me up. He ends up going to the Chicago Bears for 3 years, $42 million. So he ended up getting $14 million per.
Yeah.
So for the comment earlier about, Elton Jenkins making $17 million playing center, Drew Dalman's going to be playing center for the Bears at $14 million per average annual value. My question is, which would you rather have? You have to choose between the two. Which would you rather have play center, Elton Jenkins or Drew Dalman? If I had to choose between the two, I would pick Elton Jenkins. But if Elton Jenkins, if I can have them both, I would have really liked to have them both. That makes sense. Have your cake and eat it too. So what did Jake say there? Dalman would have limited Green Bay's run scheme, in my opinion. There you go. And a lot of that does come into play. It does. I know Jake was not high on Dalman when we were. He talked about that many times this offseason. So how we feel about Dalman going to Chicago, boys? Do y'all think they overpaid? Do you think that's a good signing? I think it's a good signing, and they've got plenty of cap space, so it's not like they're going to miss that extra cap, in my opinion.
I think they did what they had to do. That was the worst offensive line for especially a young quarterback, especially a quarterback like a Caleb Williams who thinks that he can just run away from every defender and extend a play. They traded quite a bit of draft capital and some decent money to solidify that guard position. Then they go ahead and sign the center position. Just because they drafted these guys and they're plugging them in doesn't mean that offensive line is going to change. Now, did they, again, looking back at what these guys have done in their careers, on paper, it looks like a good signing. But, I mean, they got to come out and they got to play. And as we've all learned our whole lifetimes, the Chicago Bears will find a way to poop in the bed and turn around and spin in it and spin in it. So I'm not worried yet. Give me until like halfway through the season next year, and we'll see how many times Caleb's gotten hit. We'll see.
Yeah.
As Jacob said, poop in the hand. I immediately thought of the Facebook video that Emilio sent us the other day, where it said doctor or engineer, and it showed that guy in the middle of the street. So it's like, this is so random.
I don't want to punch you in the butt and you poop in my hand. So
exactly right, Coach. Exactly. So let's move along to where our signings landed here.
Too old for this.
Hearing Johnny Depp describe Amber Heard pooping on the pillow was just wild courtroom content.
Plus, they were like, Johnny, you were drunk, and he's like, well, yeah, my girlfriend poops in the bed. Did you have a few drinks?
Still crapped on the pillow, whether I was drunk or not. What is that going to do with it? Oh, unbelievable. All right, so Nate Hobbs, right? Our signing here. Did we already pass up on our other boy? We did. Or we haven't yet, right? Or he may not be on the list yet. What's going on? Aaron, right? Aaron Banks.
Aaron Banks.
Yeah, we haven't seen him yet. So maybe they haven't updated the list completely. But Nate Hobbs is on the list here. He's tied for the 22nd most free agent that signed today in average annual value. So for the people that say, holy overpay, it's like you're making it sound like he was one of the top 5 highest paid free agents, right? 25 years old, leaves Vegas, goes to Green Bay, 4 years, $48 million, $12 million average annual. You won't be able to see this for a second. I'm just seeing if they got any other details here. Total guarantee. There's the total guarantee is listed at 16 million total guarantee is what it looks like. So yeah. I think that was mentioned earlier here in the show as well. So there's a first, and our other boy is not on this list, is he? Because he would have been much higher than that.
So, yeah, it should have been higher.
Yeah. So we'll get that information to you guys and gals at a later date. Is it cool if we move on to the Patreon group real quick, guys?
Yeah, if you want to do that. I was going to go over the list of free agents that are currently available.
Ooh, let's hear it, Tim.
I'd like that.
Want to read over a list of 200-year-old football players or anything, but shockingly enough, Stephon Diggs was not picked up.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Go get him. $35 million per, Tim. Sign him.
I'll pass. Hard pass. Joey Bosa still on the market, though I hear whisperings about possibly San Francisco for him. I don't know if you guys have heard that.
Secrets.
Yep. Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Von Miller, Brandon Cooks, Deontay Johnson out of Baltimore.
Here's the guy.
28 years old. He looks like a young kid with the rest of these guys.
What about Von Miller, guys? Are we willing?
Oh, no.
Hey, I'll tell you, he's
No.
he seems to be aging like a fine wine. That dude has played pretty damn good football while he was in Buffalo.
Tim
It's
says
a lot of money for a 1-year rental.
We were going to do it for Khalil, though, right?
Yeah, but that's K-Mac. K-Mac's not 35 and a half, is he? How old is Khalil Mack? Khalil Mack's like 29, 30 or something like that.
No, I thought he was going to be 33 this year. I could be wrong.
Really?
Let me see.
Tim, look at him. Von Miller's grades are just unreal, dude.
Oh, 90, right?
93, 91, 90, 91, 90, 95, 90, 79, 91, 85, 53. Last year, 85.5. Bring that guy in here.
Khalil
man.
Mack got, what did Khalil Mack get? 18 million?
18 million.
Yeah.
Von Miller ain't taking no $18 million.
Khalil Mack's 34 years old, Tim.
Wow. Okay, so just a year younger. All right.
Right,
Nice,
right in the
dude.
same ballpark. They're both kind of that same type of player. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how they keep doing it, boys. I turned 34. I can barely get out of bed. These guys are still out there doing the thing.
Yo, Toll for this says, I hope Diggs goes to Pittsburgh. Can you imagine if Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh and Diggs goes and their three receivers are Diggs, DK, and Pickens?
And then
Rodgers is going to have to be.
And then Mike Tomlin just up and retires.
Handle this. You kidding me? I'm out of
Yeah.
here.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
They're like, Mike, you're the one who can discipline these guys.
Put that name in my mouth right there.
So, anybody else, Tim? That's an interesting list, man.
I like that list, Tim.
Cam Robinson, Draymond Jones.
Got to put
Tyler
Cooper Kupp on that
Lockett.
list, probably.
What's that?
Said you probably got to put Cooper Kupp on that list, it sounds like. If he doesn't get signed or traded by Wednesday, they're going to release him.
Yeah, he's gonna. That was what I heard. He's not on the free agent list. Preston Smith. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. DeMarcus Lawrence still available. Matthew Judon, Evan Ingram. What I've got. So,
Judon.
yep.
Ron Samble says the Green Bay Packers reportedly will sign former San Francisco 49ers guard Aaron Banks to a 4-year, $77 million contract with $63 million guaranteed in the first 3 years. So essentially it turns into, you're going to want to hold on to him that fourth to make it worth it. So that's kind of, I don't want to say the opposite, but a little bit different than the Hobbs signing. Goody thinks this dude is top tier. There's no doubt about that. Again, you can go off what people say. You gotta really pay attention to the checkbook, man.
Yeah.
If that is true. $63 million guaranteed. Goody thinks this dude is Elton Jenkins' top offensive line. I get excited over that. Some people may think, "Oh God, that's overpaying." I get excited about that because Goody knows offensive line. My opinion, I could be wrong.
I don't know if that's
Harold says that's not right.
Yeah.
Banks $77 million. Ain't that what he just said though? Or is he saying, okay, Banks $77 million is not right? Well, that changes.
Maybe the guaranteed part is not right.
Right. That's
Yeah,
what
somebody else is saying it's only the signing bonus was guaranteed. I hope it's not right. I'll be honest. I don't want us to give 63 guaranteed.
Let me see if I can find him real quick while we're sitting here. Y'all talk amongst yourself, gentlemen.
I mean, his name is Banks, right? I mean,
I was gonna say back up
going
the
to
truck.
the bank.
Valid point. The only thing, yeah, here we go. Well, no. The only thing they have right now on Spot Track is Aaron Banks signed a 4-year, $77 million contract with the Green Bay Packers, including an average annual salary of $19.2 million in 2025. Banks will earn while carrying a cap hit of, and it's not finished yet. So it's just showing the average there, which is obviously just $77 million divided by 4. So we still don't know according to Spot Track. So Jake Shavink, it says $63 million in the first 3 years. I'm not seeing guaranteed. Got it. Big details at the moment. There you go. So, worried me there. If it was 63 million fully guaranteed, it's like, oh boy, they think we just signed Armani Dawson. You know what I mean? That's Hall of Fame stuff there.
Ooh, the Saints are re-signing our potential pass rusher Chase Young. There you go.
Ooh, I got one right today, boys.
Out there,
Love
Dave.
that one. I had a feeling he was going to stay there.
Let's get to the Patreon group. I feel like we've neglected it the last few days. I got to get back to that.
Ooh.
What, Jake?
Sorry. The 49ers are releasing 9-time Pro Bowl fullback Kyle Juszczyk.
Jacob, don't you start this.
Please find a way. Come on. I want Juszczyk.
You're being serious,
Don't
right?
put that name in my mouth right there. I want the fullback to make a resurgence, man.
I got you. All right, let's go to the Patreon group. You guys keep coming through the news there. If anything breaks, let us know. AZ Marky Mark said, "Hey Clayton, sorry, been a little MIA the past few, but I do listen to the pod and actually binge about 3 to 4 days in a row." Question: I keep hearing you talk about putting polls out on, that sounds bad, on YouTube and X. How about creating them on this site? I would think you would get a more solid answer than all the drive-by yahoos that seen it on their feed but are not true Packer backers. Go back. I love it, AZ Marky Mark. I like that you're setting a little expectation here for the Patreon group. I appreciate it. So we did a poll question tonight on YouTube, on Twitter, and everything. We did it also on the Patreon group, so you guys make sure you get your vote in. Just posted it before the show, so people probably didn't even know about it. How would you grade the moves Goody made on day one of free agency? A, B, C, D, or F is what the options are on the Patreon group. But here in YouTube, we did the same poll question, and we only got 4 options, obviously. A, B, C, or D is what we went with. And it looks like 67% of the viewers tonight, with 132 votes, gave him a B. All right, so not bad, right? Not a bad grade. And then 17% gave him a C, 14% gave him an A, and only 2% gave him a D. So right now it looks like B is going to run away with it. So everybody seems pretty content. Didn't ace it, but pretty solid signings there from Goody. So I like it. Next one here. Okay, so here's my latest favorite draft with no trades is here. So here we go. This is Todd Larson in the Patreon group. He said, number 23, cornerback Jahdae Barron. Number 54, defensive tackle TJ Sanders. I like it so far. Number 87, wide receiver Jack Besh. All right. Number 123, edge defender Davis Walker. Okay. 160, interior offensive lineman Jonah Monheit. Jacob, you like that one?
Here's the guy.
Number 200, offensive tackle Jack Nelson. Number 239, wide receiver Elijah Badgers. And then number 251, linebacker Cody Simon. Doesn't look too bad there.
I actually really like that. Yeah.
I could see that happening too. That looks pretty sound, right? If you guys, where are we at now with Ja? Do you think Ja's coming back? Just real quick answer. I'm going to move on to the next question here, but I just need to know how do y'all feel about Ja now? Because listening to Wildy and Tausch today, Tausch was out. There's Brian Bulaga in there with Wildy, and it kind of feels like now Wildy stayed quiet on it, but it kind of feels like Bulaga's like, I don't know, man, what's going on? Hey, let me put it this way. If you're Jair, you wanted to hit the market before free agency, right? So why did he not? And why was his camp not pushing aggressively through the media? Hey, we're seeking a trade like Myles Garrett did or any of these. You know what I'm saying? How do y'all feel about it?
Because we got a good GM, and he's got a handle on things, and maybe they work some things out. I mean, think about this. It benefits the Packers a lot if he plays next season because whatever you're going to get out of him is going to be him auditioning for, his next job probably. So he'll have all the motivation in the world to go out and ball out. It's just a matter of staying healthy. So I think really it feels like Packers have the leverage here, honestly. We got breaking news here. AFAM stubbed his toe on the coffee table.
He stubbed his toe, and his fake mustache fell off in the process.
Here's the guy.
This may help, may make Tim happy here, but I will increase. I was up until probably 2 days ago, I was saying 40-60 that we keep him versus not keep him. I'm willing to switch now. I think it's 60-40 that we do keep him.
It's been a roller coaster, hasn't it?
Things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
That's right, Josh. All right, so Josh Martin in the Patreon group. Legal tampering period starts tomorrow. Obviously, this was yesterday at noon. Who do y'all think will be our first free agent signing? Someone from another team, not our own free agent. I think it will be Aaron Banks. That's who I think it'll be. How that works there.
Nice.
So, sorry we got to it late there, Josh. I apologize. It's been a rough 3 days here at the Bailey house. So Moist Butter, love that name, right? That's Jacob Burner here. I'm kind of depressed we aren't going to have kicker talk anymore.
Well, we'll talk about how great McMoney is all day.
We'll be talking about those game winners next year. What we're going to be talking about, baby. Trevor Anderson says, I feel like someone like Von Miller could be a good pickup for us. I know he's older, but with our heavy rotation, he can stay fresh. We have seen older guys still perform. Bobby Wagner. Thoughts, Clayton? I think we just kind of hit it, Trevor. That's funny, man. Great minds think alike. I would be totally on board with it for the right price. Don't go breaking the bank. If you can get him for what they got Khalil Mack at $18 million, I'd be all right with it. Because like you said, that heavy rotation, I didn't even think about that. That obviously it's going to keep him a little healthier, a little fresher, right? Just some kind of help. And you want the team to be a little more seasoned, a little more. I don't want to use the word older, but just more veteran presence. And that's the other thing. Like, I know these guys were young that we signed today, Jacob, but they're older than rookies. So we did add some veteran help to the team, and that's what we've been looking for. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. I
think there's something to be said there. I don't think we'll be the youngest team this year. I think there's a good chance we may not be the youngest team. Let's put it that way. Let's see, Mountain Man Pack. We are attacking this free agency for sure. Who's left that's worth bringing in? I guess this was earlier today.
It's hours later.
Other than Von Miller, who would it be, guys? Tim, do you got one? You got to have one. You can't listen. You cannot embarrass me on my own damn show and shun me for wanting Von Miller without having a name here, sir. Who is your guy? Who's the guy that you go, man? I wouldn't mind to have him.
Of the currently available?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. I got to refresh my
Tim
list.
said,
here.
"What you mean next year?" Let me look. Let me see.
Yeah. Who's available?
If you don't have one, it's okay. I just didn't know if you maybe had somebody at the forefront of your mind.
I mean, it's funny because I'm going to have to admit that it probably is Von Miller. The only other thought is, again, the right price. Don't everybody drag me here.
MVS.
No, God, no.
It's about to happen, Tim. You better get
if
ready.
We're talking receiver, I'd roll the dice on Amari Cooper. Guys,
pressure.
Pressure got to you, didn't it, Tim?
Amari Cooper, maybe.
Would you do Cooper or Cup? They in the same type of situation there?
I mean, Cooper Cup would be interesting because that's probably realistic that you could get kind of a team-friendly deal. But
J. Cole trying to win Tim over. He said, "Hey, I'll meet you in the middle. Sign Cup and draft Higgins." How about that, Tim?
That'd be amazing.
Then what do we do with Bird, man? Come on now. There's only so many. We already talk about guys getting targets. We don't want to go from one problem to another problem. I don't know. How do you get all those guys on the field? We run 5 wide all day. I
think we take an offensive lineman off the field. 6 wide receivers out there, Tim. All right. Mountain Man Pack hit, I guess, as soon as the signing happened and said, 53rd best guard. That's our big move. Sorry, Mountain Man Pack. That's all you get today. Moist Butter says 91% PBR. What is this PBR?
Pass blocking win rate.
Oh, there you go. Look at you, Jacob. Dang, boy.
Tell you what.
91% pass blocking win rate and 69% run blocking win rate and only 0.22 penalties per game. I will take that all day.
I like
There
that.
you go.
I like that too. Like everything about that except for your screen name.
What do you have against moist butter, Tim? Huh? Unbelievable, man. Josh
That
Martin.
sounds like
to
a pretty
answer
good
that?
name. I might have to steal that name on Friday night in my next go round.
He's going to show up at the office with a new name tag, Tim.
That's right.
Moist butter. Josh Martin in the Patreon group. I like the Banks signing. Jenkins moves to center as we thought. And I think that was reported too, right? Somebody reported that the plan is for Jenkins to move to center. I want to say someone close to the Packers tweeted at one of the local reporters. Well, double check me on that. If anybody knows that information in the chat, let us know. Said the Hobbs signing makes no sense. We have Bullard in the slot. Does this mean Bullard is strictly safety? Again, I think there's some versatility there, Josh, with Hobbs, and I think they're going to do like we open up the show with. There's going to be some kind of camp battle and let everybody fall into place. What I like about it is you now don't have to force Bullard to the safety position if an injury happens, right? Because you got Zane Anderson back, that type of thing. Now, if you do approach it and you say, let's say you do like you're talking about here and you put Bullard back at safety, okay? Well, guess what happens? If Hobbs goes down, you got to pull Bullard back from safety. I think that's what they're trying to get away from. So I would imagine with Zane Anderson returning, it would be Bullard and Hobbs in the slot battling for that slot spot. And whichever one doesn't win would be the backup. Now, they may kick Hobbs outside, and then you would move Hobbs back inside if for some reason Bullard went down or vice versa. I just think it gives them more options in that regard. I think we're better today after that Hobbs signing in a sense of if somebody gets injured, we're not going to be panicking, trying to force Bullard back to safety or what have you. I think I honestly think they like Bullard in the slot. And I like him in the slot way better than the safety, albeit just 1 year of work. And that doesn't mean he was a great football player. I just think he played his best football in the slot as opposed to safety. And he's young, man. Got to give him time to grow. If Emilio was here, he would confirm that.
Yep.
Chris I think Bullard is the odd man out at this point is what he says. And then he went on to say Clayton, Josh Sweat, or Banks, almost exact same deal. You guys know I wasn't big on Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
So now I'm not saying I'm big on Banks either. But, again, we didn't lose to the Eagles because we didn't have Josh Sweat on our team. We lost to the Eagles because we got our ass kicked in the trenches. After one injury, the wheels didn't fall off. They passed us up. You know what I mean? Like it was bad. It was ugly not having enough depth on the interior offensive line. So I think that was the goal there. So appreciate everybody in the Patreon group. You guys are awesome. If you want to join our Patreon group, scan the QR code in the upper right. That'll send you to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. And I want to mention we got a giveaway coming up. I'm trying to think of who it was. I'm looking over my camera right now. You guys talk for a second. I'm going to tell you what the next giveaway is going to be, autographed jersey here.
Well, Jake's saying Emilio will love this. He says the wheels fell off with Travis Glover. Bum, bum, bum.
I heard that all the way across the room.
I mean, yeah, I tell you what, it is interesting to see if there's anybody that's going to make that second or third year leap that we haven't really put a lot of faith into. I mean, Monk and Glover for sure. I don't even know. Is there anybody else, Tim, that you could see making a real big surprise splash and challenging for some starting positions?
I mean, other than Sean Ryan, possibly,
Right.
making it real difficult for these guys to find their way into the lineup, possibly. But, I don't know. I think competition's good, though. I wish Emilio was here, though. He'd be defending Travis Glover.
Travis Glover could get caught robbing 3 banks in 2 counties. And he'd kill the thing. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and we all know what Emilio would say, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was the best guy around.
He can block.
And this is what Travis Glover would hear when Emilio showed up at the pen to bail him out. There's been a trade. Come with me, sir. I'm getting you out of here. So the giveaway, and we're going to do it this weekend, okay? What is today? It's just Monday, right? So this coming weekend, we'll do like a Saturday night giveaway. Everyone who's in the Patreon group will be entered into a giveaway. Okay, if you're a member of one of the 3 tiers, you get access to the chats, the questions for the show, all that good stuff. You also can get yourself entered into the draft contest, where we're going to do mock draft contest. You set up a mock draft. Whoever gets closest to what the Packers actually do will get a prize there as well. Just a lot of cool stuff. But this Saturday, we're going to be giving away an autographed home Lucas Van Ness jersey. We got another one, so we're going to give that away. Nice piece of memorabilia from Pristine Auction. And, of course, we got these awesome cards that was donated by Jazambi earlier, and we got some other stuff, too. I think I got a Robert Brooks over there a little later. We're going to be giving away. We got all kinds of stuff, man. So just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the show. We appreciate y'all. Anything else, boys? We went over a little bit, but, hey, it's the first day of free agency. You got to talk about it, right?
No, I'm I don't even. No, I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be, obviously it won't be, I'm sure, as high flying and action packed and news filled, but I could see Packers making some weird kind of quiet moves, some bargain bin moves, if you will.
You cheap.
Go.
Yeah. Tim, you got anything else, Big Dog?
No, I'm good. I thought today went well. I'm not upset like some of the fan bases. It's going to be okay. Everybody take a breath. Goody's going to cook in the draft. It will all make sense later.
All right, there you go. And it looks like in the Patreon group right now, the grade B on the first day of free agency for the Packers with these 2 signings, 67% gave him a B, 33% gave him a C. And so it looks like B is going to win all the way across all platforms. I had it on Twitter as well. Let me get that result to you real quick before we end here. Yep, 55.7% said B. 24% said C, and 14% said A. So there you go. I think you're hearing the loud ones is what you're hearing out there. The pissed off minority is what you're hearing the most, and it looks like the majority of people thought pretty good day here on the first day of free agency for Brian Gutekunst. So we'll be back tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Central, if everything goes as planned, and we'll be talking about any other moves that may or may not have happened here. IROC, great show. Thanks for sucking. Hey, Bob, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for dropping by and having a good time with us, man. You're always very, very supportive and positive, and it goes a long way in this great year of 2025. That's hard to find. So everybody, the super chats, really, really appreciate y'all. King Tron, we got Hardy the Prophet, been a member for 5 months. TC Fan with the super chat. Good to see you back in here, buddy. Hardy the Prophet with the super chat. King Tron, Hardy again. Josh Martin, and then our good buddy Drew with the super chat. Thank y'all for supporting the stream. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.
And we go. We out.
All right.
Bye, guys.